Hey, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Good to have you here on If You Don't Like That. The Warriors lead the Grizzlies 55 to 42 with a little over 5 minutes left to go in the first half. A 31 to 25 first quarter for Golden State. I could see them really making this an easy finish when we get to the fourth quarter. I made a comment 2 weeks ago and then again last week that I really felt that the winner of tomorrow's Kings-Mavs game has a very decent chance to go into Memphis, assuming they lose tonight, and win that game. I think the Grizzlies have a very, I don't want to say bad locker room, but it's not great. And I think they'd be just fine starting their vacation on Friday night at about 10 o'clock Central Time. We'll see. We'll see. Warriors getting a big first half from playoff Jimmy Butler. Boy, he's good in the playoffs. Again, it is 55 to 42. Earlier, the Magic had no problem rolling over the Atlanta Hawks 120 to 95. Atlanta will now play the winner of tomorrow's 9-10 game in the East. What do you want to talk about tonight? Good to have you here on If You Don't Like That. We're not going to go that long. I wanted to just touch base with you and go over a couple of things, see what you wanted to talk about tonight. Here is the link. If you want to call the show, I am happy to do that. By the way, if the Grizzlies should come back and win this game, I think that would be a very difficult scenario for whoever wins the game tomorrow night in Sacramento. I mean, if the Warriors were to lose tonight, and they have not been great at home this year, by the way. I mean, not terrible, but they're 24 and 17. But if the Warriors should lose tonight, which I don't see happening, I don't see them losing in their next game against the winner of tomorrow's game. That I don't see. So I don't see Memphis having enough to win this game. But, again, it's only the second quarter. And it is 56 to 44. You never know. You could have a player go down with an injury. You could, there's a lot of things that could happen. I don't forecast that. The Warriors should win this game. Memphis has not had a good close to the season, obviously leading up to the firing of Taylor Jenkins. And after that, things have not gone well. All right? Things have not gone well. Cody says, I've watched a lot of Jalen Milroe. Would you want the Giants to take him in the second round? I'd be fine with taking Milroe later on in the draft. I'd be fine with that. Do I think he's going to be a stud NFL quarterback? Who knows? Maybe. But later in the draft, yeah, I would be fine with that. Bane and Morant need to have a big second half. They do. At least I'll say this. And again, there's 4.5 left. At least the Grizzlies are hanging around. It's like they're not getting blown out, and you never know, My thoughts on Kings tickets, not sold out, less than 24 hours before tip-off. Is that true? I was not even aware of that. Is that accurate? That would surprise me. But I'm looking at the prices, and I'm looking at, the Kings have had a very disappointing season, and they've been very poor at home this year. But that would surprise me. My thoughts about the game tomorrow is the Kings are a better team than the Mavs without Kyrie Irving. But the Kings are also wildly inconsistent. The Kings have officially ruled out Jake LaRavia and Malik Monk for the game tomorrow. So keep that in mind. You better hope that DeRozan and Levine both have big games, and the Kings' bigs need to stay out of foul trouble against that front line, and particularly Anthony Davis, who is listed as probable, by the way, all right, is listed as probable. I was not aware that the game currently is not sold out. I was not aware of that. Interesting. I mean, that's not going to have any impact on the game, but it is very, very surprising. Very surprising. Hello from South Bend, Indiana. Go Irish. How's the weather there? Good to have you on. Thank you. I love going to South Bend. What a great place. Do you know that I played the first ever, if you can believe this, I played the first ever lacrosse game in their football stadium. There had never been a lacrosse game played in the football stadium until I had played in there with Bowling Green. It was very cool. The uh, the history of South Bend. I announced a basketball game at the Convocation Center. I announced a hockey game at Notre Dame. Bowling Green at Notre Dame in both basketball and hockey. That was great. You know what? It was a treat for me to go to South Bend. Have I ever traveled to Japan or South Korea? Do you know the Kings played 2 games in Japan 25 years ago against Minnesota, open up the regular season? That's the only time I've been to Tokyo. I've only been to the airport in South Korea at Seoul. I have not ventured outside of the airport. I love Tokyo, though. That was great. We were over there for a week. That was a phenomenal trip. That was a phenomenal trip. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to this program, says Telly. Got served divorce papers today, and it's stuff like this that I look forward to and still will. Probably too much info, but this is my escape. You know what, Telly? I'm happy to have you here, and life goes on, my friend. You'll be fine. You go through this, you'll be fine. And I'm glad that we give you a reprieve for a little while. Don't forget, tomorrow, join us. Rhino will have the pregame. Jerry joins us at halftime. And then the postgame. I'm thinking about you, my friend. Not easy to go through, but the sun will come up tomorrow. And in a couple months, you'll be fine. Hola to Eduardo. Hello, Ed, in Chile. How you doing, Ed? That's awesome. Always love when we got people around the world tuning in to If You Don't Like That. That's great. Yeah, see, Telly, a lot of people already got you covered here. All right? Everyone's thinking about you, man. Everyone. See, Larry's chiming in. Thumper chiming in. You know, that's what this is what we do here. Cody, we got your back, Telly. We got your back, buddy. That's what's great about these chats and everything else. I guarantee we already made Telly's day better. That's awesome, man. I love that. 63-51 with 2:23 left. Eduardo, good old Ed, says he's doing awesome. How about you, buddy? I'm fine. Thank you. Telly says, appreciate you all. Light the beam. You're welcome, Telly. So tomorrow, and again, because 7 and 8 does get an advantage, the advantage is the loser gets another chance. And the advantage is they get a full extra day's rest, which they should. You know, you should have an incentive. So if the Kings win tomorrow, assuming that they would play Memphis, and I think they will, you know, you get up, get a practice or a film session in, 3-hour trip to Memphis, go to a dead city, and go play in an arena that probably will not be sold out, I would guess, and take on a team that might be looking to get out of Dodge and go home for the summer. Could be a good scenario. Jeff Van Gundy in no way, shape, or form would coach the Sacramento Kings. Not happening. See all these great messages for you, Telly? Telly, you aren't the only one, bro. I went through it 5 to 6 years removed. Now in a great place. Keep your head up, Telly. You know, Stephen, I don't know why people think that a Jeff Van Gundy would go to Sacramento. Like, why would Jeff Van Gundy coach the Kings? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question. Come on now. Ask yourself that question. Don't ever ask yourself, though, why you would use New Works Plumbing. It's obvious. All right. They're great at what they do. They're going to take care of your issues when it comes to plumbing. Give them a call. Go to their website right there on your screen, or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Warriors stretching it out a little bit at the end of the half. It is now 67-53. All right. 67-53. It was time to fire David Griffin in New Orleans. You know what it's time? It's time for the league to move them out of New Orleans. That's what it's time for. Seriously. The PGA is already discussing pace of play as soon as next week, as they should. It's ridiculous. This is a very good one. Grant Napier, even though you misspelled my name, it's okay, is more likely to coach the Kings than Jeff Van Gundy. That is very true. And I would do it for a lot less money. Ed says, how about Scal fourth quarter last night? Super happy for him. I didn't see any of the numbers from the game, but if he had a big fourth quarter, I'm happy for Scal because I love Scal. I don't follow the G League. I have no interest in it. I mean, I'm happy for them, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even name you the teams in the G League. I have no idea. Elijah? No. You have to win both tomorrow and Friday. Out of the four first rounders in 1990, who was your favorite? Man, that's a great question. Lionel Simmons. I love Lionel, but I also actually, it's really hard for me to say because all four of the guys were great to be around. Simmons, Causwell, and Anthony Bonner, Travis Mays. That's a very probably L Train or Causey, because Causey was from New York, and we always used to talk about the Giants and the Yankees. But L Train was a very gregarious, funny, outgoing guy, and we always used to get into it talking about Philly sports and New York sports. So probably L Train or Causey. Love Dwayne Causwell. All right, again, 67-55 is the score at the half. Let me give you some numbers here if you're not following the game that closely. Morant had 15. Desmond Bane had 11. And for the Warriors, how about Jimmy Butler? 21 points on 12 shots. Curry had 15 points on 7 shots. Do I need to say anything else? Wow. That's production. How about Moody was a plus 13 in that first half. 7 points. But again, here's the problem. The Warriors are scoring way too easy. 31 in the first quarter, 36 in the second quarter. And that's what the Kings are going to do to Memphis if they play them. The Grizzlies are not going to be able to score enough against the Kings if Levine and DeRozan do their thing. They just don't have enough firepower. They don't. That doesn't mean they can't win it. That doesn't mean they can't beat Sacramento, but they just don't have. I mean, the Warriors, again, put 67 on the board in the first half. No, they would not beat Memphis for sure. I don't know why you would say that. For sure? No, not for sure. Warriors would smack the Kings, sadly. I would agree with you. I think it would be a long night. Grizzlies look so beatable. Come on, Kings, just win tomorrow. PK says the Grizz will win. The Grizz are very beatable right now. But again, you'd have to go into their place to get an extra day rest. I don't know what their motivation is. I don't know where they're at right now. I I don't know where they're at, their heads and everything. We'll see. We'll find out here in the second half. Would I be surprised if the Wolves win the series against the Lakers? No, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't be surprised. Do I expect the Kings to beat the Mavs tomorrow? I don't expect them to because they're the Kings. I think they will, but do I expect them to? No. I don't expect anything from this team. Not anything. Do I think they'll win? I do think they'll win. Expect them to win? No. No. I don't expect them to do anything because this team is too unpredictable. That's for sure. This is a very good question. Is New Orleans the worst NBA city? Is Memphis and Charlotte in that category? Yes, yes, and yes. Yes. Now, New Orleans as a city, we know it's a huge tourist destination, blah, blah, blah. Charlotte is a great downtown. It's a huge convention city, many beautiful hotels. Tourism's very good for Charlotte, beautiful area. But no one cares about the Hornets. Nobody cares about the Pelicans. And Memphis is a distraught, awful, I'll just say it, dangerous downtown, how I would characterize danger. I mean, downtown Memphis is horrid. And they just I could see the Grizzlies leaving. I could definitely see that happening. Again, 67-55 is the score with the Warriors leading the Grizzlies. If the Warriors win, they're in. And the Grizzlies then would have to win against the winner of tomorrow's Kings Mavericks game. Ed says it best. When you expect the Kings to lose, they win. Pretty much, you know. Am I going to have Sean Salisbury on? During the football season, I will. Yes. Love Sean. You should see Downtown Sac. I have seen Downtown Sac, and it's awful. But Downtown Sac is 10 times better, at least, than downtown Memphis. Have you ever been in downtown Memphis? If you have, you wouldn't be asking me the question. I mean, seriously. Noah says, I'm happy that Kuminga finally getting DMPs as a Dubs fan. Yeah, he didn't play in that first half. Hopefully the Grizzlies relocate to Seattle. Seattle has murals of Sean Kemp in their city. They deserve a team. Well, that's not why they deserve a team, but yes, they do. They do deserve a team. You are correct about that. You are correct about that. They should have a team. It's a shame that they don't have a team. You are absolutely correct. And they hopefully will get one soon. Hey, if you are in the market to buy a home, this guy, Connor, Element Mortgage, he's your guy. All right, here's his number. If you're not into using a QR code, 916-505-1006. Tons of experience. As a matter of fact, the team behind him has over 100 years of experience. Connor himself has been very successful, big-time Kings fan from Folsom, and he will be perfect for you because, number one, you can trust him. Number two, experience, and he gets results. Call him, 916-505-1006, or the QR code. That's Connor with Element Mortgage. Give him a shout. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. What do you think the final score is going to be tonight in the Warriors-Grizzlies game? What do you think? I'd say the Warriors are going to win this game 129 to 112. Now, you know I'm normally wrong with these things, right? So I hope I didn't just put the whammy on the Warriors because I'd rather have the Kings, if they win, play Memphis than Golden State. But that's how I see it. All right? Nashville should get a team. Well, here's the problem. Nashville, I don't think, should get an NBA team, and I'll tell you why. There are too many other cities that are in line in front of them that make sense. Now, the Predators do very well in Nashville, the hockey team, and obviously the Titans. But Seattle's way ahead of the list instead of Nashville. I'm not saying Nashville wouldn't do well, but they don't. I don't see it there. I don't see it. PK says the Warriors will lose for sure. PK, man, you're probably right. I don't know why the Sacramento community thinks the Kings are just going to bounce the Mavs. Well, if they do, they're walking around with blinders on. Patrick says Peacock will have games too. I guess NBA TV will be out for games since Turner ran them too. I have no idea what's going on with all that stuff. Again, 67 to 55 is the score at the half with the Warriors on top. Again, don't forget, thinking about tomorrow, Rhino will cover us on the pregame. We got the halftime with Jerry and the postgame show, and hopefully the beam will be lit tomorrow. Can you imagine what tomorrow's show will be like if the Kings lose at home? Wow. Anthony Davis, probable. The Mavs front line will give the Kings some issues, but I just don't think Dallas can score enough with Sacramento. I just don't. I don't see how they're going to score enough to win the game. I just don't. I don't see the Mavs scoring with the Kings. Even without Monk, Sabonis is going to do his thing. And then, the X factors are, what will Keon Ellis do in his role? What will his scoring be like? And then what will Keegan Murray be able to add? So, I don't see how the Mavs are going to be able to keep pace offensively. I think you're going to see a Kings-Grizzly game on Friday. That's what I'm predicting. But, I wouldn't rule out Memphis just because they're losing at the half. I think the Grizzlies are in the same scenario as the Mavs in a different way. I mean, the Grizzlies have guys that can score, right? Desmond Bane, John Morant. But they don't have the firepower to keep up with the Warriors. They don't. And here's the deal with the Warriors, right? If you're not going to be able to play defense well enough, you're not going to win. Well, 50% shooting for the Warriors, 40% from downtown, and only 5 turnovers. I mean, you're not beating the Warriors giving up those type of numbers. Will says Sacktown should have more faith in this team. Why would you have faith in this team based on 82 games, Will? Like, where's your faith coming from, Will? I mean, the reality is the Sacramento fan base is very knowledgeable. And it's not that they don't have faith, but they also understand that it's a flawed team, and it has been the entire year. You're right. Memphis is not a good defensive team, and it is one of their biggest issues. You're absolutely right. Desmond Bane, the Kings killer. He has been. But historically, both Levine and DeRozan have killed the Grizzlies. Tay wants to know if I agree that the Eastern Conference first-round matchup are so much less interesting and boring than the West? Is this primarily due to the West being more competitive and having more stars? Well, all you got to do to answer that question, all right, is look at the records of the teams that are playing in the East as opposed to the West. All right. So in the East, we don't know who the number 8 seed is going to be. Cleveland is 64-18, and they're either going to be playing Atlanta, Chicago, or Miami. All three teams are under 500. Boston is going to play Orlando. Boston is 61-21. Orlando's 41-41. It's a gigantic disparity. All right. The disparity between 1 and 8 in the West will be the exact same. But then 2 and 7, there are a lot of people that think the Warriors are going to beat the Rockets, and the Rockets are a 2 seed. Nobody is picking Orlando to beat Boston. Although I think it could be a better series than people think if Orlando's healthy. But no one's picking them to beat the Celtics. That's your difference. That's the difference. Again, if the Warriors win, they'll play Houston. If Memphis wins, they'll play Houston. And then the winner of tomorrow's game would play in San Francisco on Friday. 67-55 again is the score at the half. Just I don't see that being a likely scenario. Hey, Sunrise Landing in Calusa. Check it out. Beautiful community from Blazona Development. And if you go to the website, you can get a lot more information on Calusa Sunrise and check out all their beautiful models. Remember, there's no Mellorews here, no homeowners. Good access. I mean, it's easy to get to, whether you're on Highway 20, I-5, Highway 45. And it's adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. Get more information on beautiful Sunrise Landing. 67-45. They're getting ready to start the second half here. I'm not counting the Rockets out either. I mean, the Rockets are not a bad team, but I think that, there are a lot of people that are picking the Warriors, assuming that they get in with their experience to give them a run for their money and win that series. The Kings would go 7 with the Rockets. Book it. Well, we're not going to find out. It's not going to happen. I'm looking at all these messages coming in. That's why I'm pausing. I think the Kings will get one game if they face the Thunder. Maybe. Kings can get the 7th seed. Hey, Will. Let me ask you a question, Will. Like, are you just uninformed, uneducated? Have you been living on a different planet? Are you talking about in this year, Will? Will, would you like to put a bet on that? You and me? We can make a friendly wager. Would you like to talk to me about how the Kings can get the 7th seed? Would you like to help me out with that? Wow. Unbelievable. I always like to give credit to the people on this stream as being very knowledgeable. Will would not fit into that category. But at least he's watching, right? At least he's on the program. But that's about it. Orlando, Will, they're now the 7th seed in the East, Will. They beat Atlanta tonight, 120-95. Will, maybe you think that Orlando could be the 7th seed in the West too. You think that's possible? Man. Beginner set of golf clubs you would recommend. Telly, here's what I would recommend. If you are serious about learning the game, what's more important right now than your golf clubs is learning how to hold the club correctly and swing on the right plane And if it were me, Telly, and I wanted to get into the game as a beginner, depending on where you live, but if you lived in Sacramento, I would recommend going to Hagen Oaks and sign up for a couple of lessons, either as an individual or a group. And then after you learn how to swing and get comfortable, then you worry about the clubs. The clubs right now, it would not be something that would make a difference if you haven't golfed before. I hope that makes sense. Just invest a little bit of money on some lessons, and it would make all the difference in the world to learn how to swing properly or hold the club and everything else. I would highly recommend that. My favorite golf course in the Sacramento area, probably Winchester. Probably Winchester, if you consider that in the Sacramento area. I love that golf course. I think it's great. That's one. I really like Northridge, private club, but that's good. Yeah, but I definitely Winchester in that area is great. I'll tell you, the Ridge in Auburn's a tremendous golf course. I really like that course. How many minutes does Levine get tomorrow? Probably 40. Zach Edey looks terrible tonight. He's a rookie. He's going to be good. He's going to be bad. You're welcome, Telly. $71.57 now in the third, the Warriors. This is totally incorrect. I can shoot par with pretty much anything. It's the player, not the clubs. You know, yes, it is the player, but clubs are a lot different. And once you learn how to play the game, having clubs that fit how you swing makes a significant difference. Significant. Based on how you stand and your physical attributes and everything else. It makes a big difference. Now, if you're a professional golfer or you're a scratch golfer, you say you shoot par, you know what? I guarantee you that if I gave you 5 different drivers and you just went and started using each driver, you wouldn't hit them all the same. It would be probably quite a fluctuation based on how they're set up. You might figure it out if you're a really good golfer after the first one and adjust. But for a mid handicap or low handicap, having clubs that would fit their swing could make a significant difference. DSC played Augusta yesterday. Who's DSC? I've never played there, but I've walked the course. I was at the Masters, I think it was 2019 for the first round. One of the great sports experiences that I've had. That was incredible. All right, so again, tomorrow, pregame, halftime, postgame, right here. If you don't like that, all right? Right here. We'll see if we can have that beam lit and move on for another game on Friday against either the Warriors or the Grizzlies. Right now, it is 74-62 with 9 minutes left to go in the third. All right? 74-62, 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you very much. It's going to be a fun night, hopefully tomorrow. Join us here on If You Don't Like That. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.